Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. In this video, I'm going to show you how to cook tripe, which serve as a condiment for a vegetable dish that contains eggplant and Chinese vegetables. Now, I don't think you will actually cook tripe because it's not a common protein that people eat in this country. But tripe is very popular in places where meat is scarce, when you have to use every component of the protein or the beef that you get. A tripe is actually also known as abomasum. It is the final compartment of the cow's stomach. And here I have some tripe that I purchased from a Chinese supermarket, and it comes with a very large piece. And now I do not normally cook tripe, but I really enjoy tripe because I grew up with it. Now, how did you cook tripe? In the beginning, I was a little bit tentative. I was afraid that I might mess it up. But it turned out that to be very simple, as I will show you today. The key is that you have to cut it into the right size. Now, because I use template-based cooking, cooking tripe is very similar to cooking other meat. And as long as I understand how I use my technique to cook other proteins, tripe is not that much different. In here, you can see that the tripe has many almost like leaf-like structure, and this is obviously for use for absorption of nutrients in the cow's stomach. And in here, I just cut them into small pieces, as you will see later when I cook them, why I cut it this way. Now, tripe is very common in many parts of the world, particularly in places where meat is rather unusual or rather scarce. So here I have cut them into the size I want. Here is one portion that I'm going to cook for this meal, and I'm going to freeze the other 3 portions, which I'm going to use it later, and they freeze really well. After I heat up the wok, I'm going to start with 2 tablespoons of canola oil in my Cuisinart 14-inch stainless steel wok. This remains to be my favorite wok because it is very light, and also I can clean it easily. As you notice that every time when I start my cooking session, my wok looks spotless, and which is something that I like. For a lot of people, that's really not important. I'm going to start with 1 tablespoon of fermented black soybean. I'm going to use them as a flavoring condiment. They do really well when you flavor them, particularly dishes that have a strong and, in this case, a gamey flavor, as in the case with the tripe. I'm going to fry them briefly. That will give them a nice crispy texture. It will go very well. Now I'm going to heat up the oil as hot as possible. As you can see, it starts to smoke because I want the oil hot, because that's the best way for me to sear the tripe. For most protein, high heat is really essential because the high heat will seal in the protein, and this will give much better flavor to the ingredients. As you can see that the temperature of the oil was cooled down almost immediately after I add the tripe. I just add a little bit more oil to make sure that I have enough oil because the tripe seems to absorb the oil extremely well. Now, to cook this dish is really very much based on your experience in cooking with proteins. As you can see, there are visible change to the tripes, and I can tell that it's cooking very rapidly. Now, I want to cook it sufficiently, but I certainly do not want to overcook it. And next, I add some hot chili oil, and this is a very nice chili oil. It has very mild flavor, but it gives really nice texture as well as flavor to the tripe. So all I need to do is that now stir fry everything together, and the fermented black soybean will impart flavor to the tripe. At this point, I decided a little bit oyster sauce will give better flavor balance to the tripe together with the hot oil as well as with the fermented black soybean. A few quick stir, the dish is all set up and ready to go. Now, I'm going to use this actually as a condiment to a vegetable dish that I have already cooked in advance. And this vegetable dish that I cook contains eggplant, a Chinese green, and 2 different kinds of mushroom. So as you can see that the tripe really not as the main ingredients of the dish, rather than it serve as a condiment to make the vegetable dish more interesting as well as more flavorful. Now, quite often, this is an approach that you can use with many different kinds of proteins. You can use it with chicken or shrimp by just putting it on top of a vegetable dish that you have already cooked in advance. So here I'm going to show you how quickly this dish can be cooked. And just before I serving it, I'm going to garnish it with a little bit of scallion that will give the tripe a nice flavor, give it a sense of a freshness because of the uncooked scallion that I put on top of it. Now, as you can see, I cooked these two dishes basically separately. I cooked the vegetable in advance because this will allow me to have much better control of the texture of the vegetable. And then I cook, in this case, the protein a little bit later, and then I put it on top of it. By cooking them separately, it will allow me to have full control of the outcome of each of these two very different ingredients. So the next, I'm going to quickly show you how I cook this eggplant vegetable dish. To give you a sense is that by using two different templates, and by perform this cooking process independently, you can combine them at the end to create a very effective method and to preserve the texture for both of these ingredients. The first step in cooking this vegetable dish is to stir fry the eggplant first, because the eggplant takes a bit longer time to cook as compared to other ingredients, and this is a good example of sequential cooking. You cook whatever ingredients that takes longer and you cook them first. And this is very effective in cooking vegetable dishes by knowing which ingredients will require longer time to cook. And in this case, the eggplant will be the first one to cook. And now the next ingredients I'm going to put into is a Chinese green. This is a Chinese green very similar to a Chinese vegetable called you cai, but it is also has a similarity to another Chinese vegetable called gailan. So it's kind of a mixture of both. I seasoned this dish with some basic seasoning mix, and you can find out more about this basic seasoning mix with the video that I provide below, and you can also purchase online from Amazon if you would like to give it a try. And then I add two different kind of mushroom. I add the shiitake mushroom as well as a portobello mushroom. Now this provides the dish a interesting texture because of different kind of vegetable ingredients there. And then I season it a little bit with some oyster sauce. And with a quick few stir, the vegetable dish is done. So as you can see, even though I cook two separate dishes and combine them together, the total cook time is still very reasonable. It is about 8 to 9 minutes. This video is a demonstration of my fast cooking system. With advanced prepping, you have all the ingredients ready to go. Cooking the vegetable dish is just simply by selecting whatever ingredients that I have in my advanced prepping. And by using template-based cooking, you can cook the ingredients that you are not familiar with, but you can almost assure that the outcome will be good. So I post a video each day to help you to make home cooking as practical, efficient, creative, and fun, so you can make it as part of your daily routine. If you'd like to learn more about my fast cooking system, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you'd like to ask me a question, please email me at walkwithtak@gmail.com. It is easier for me to provide you a more complete answer. So keep on cooking. I will see you tomorrow.